Yo, yo, yo. Welcome back to the channel. Hey, just in advance for for all the people who really appreciate the content, everything like that, this is going to be a very important video for you to like, because I got a feeling that there might be some dislikes coming, because this isn't like the most like rocket fuel moonshot video in the world in the short term. Okay, so for those who really support the content, I appreciate you guys for always coming back and checking out the videos. We've talked about a few different scenarios, and I wanted to talk about another one that I see could be possibly playing out. And this also does tie into one of the theories that I have been talking about when it comes to Wyckoff. And the one that I'm referring to is the spring theory, which is more in line with the accumulation schematic number 1 that you see here on the right side of the screen, where you have a spring and a test. And within the Wyckoff schematic, because remember that one had a bit of a delayed time frame, pushing us into December before we see all-time highs again. December, January, and obviously it's hard. It's much harder to do the timing than it is to kind of see the day-to-day price action. By the way, if you want to see my day-to-day price action video that I posted today, I did post one earlier, so just go check that one out. I'll have it tagged right here, and also in the description. This theory is also tied in with a cycle theory that I've been watching from Brian Gallant on Twitter. It's at my_friend_Mocha. Let me show you his Twitter. So it ties into this, and I've been DMing him about it, and this could correlate a little bit better with what's actually going on in the price action, because we've talked about a few different theories, right? We've talked about the longer term accumulation schematic that could be playing out, which is the LPS theory, which would say that would be this schematic here, where we're going to see upside immediately. And look, yesterday in my video, I said, look, if I see upside immediately tomorrow, I'm going to start considering this schematic more valid. And guess what we got, right? So, and I'm not saying that this one is necessarily off the table either, by the way. That's not what the point of this video. The point of this video is to continue analyzing, so that we're prepared for anything. Those who want to pay attention to that, right? So, this theory, if this is in fact accumulation on the schematic, you can see here that we would just kind of lolly across the phase C like we did here. And then we would have this move up into phase D, come back, retest a few key regions, and continue our move up. And by the way, in my other video, I'll just tell you straight up, I'm calling for $38. That does not cancel out this theory at all, by the way. So I'm pretty confident about that, by the way. I'm not, gonna say 100%. It's not financial advice, anything like that. I'm pretty confident about $38 tomorrow. When you consider max pain, you also consider the key Fibonacci levels in that range, or the 618 is right around that $38 range. So I'm pretty confident about that. So maybe a buying opportunity for some of you guys out there if that's what you want to do. So anyway, then we have the longer term spring theory, where actually we're entering phase C. We're going to see a big dip down below the trading range, which would actually be a very shocking moment, I would say, for most apes, most people who've been following the stock. This isn't necessarily off of the table either. So I know that that's not the most popular thing to say. And then let me just make sure that I'm looking at the right things here. And then I also broke down how we had accumulation here back from July to August. And then we had clear distribution here, which, if you're not familiar with the distribution schematic, it's this one, which is basically the composite man is what Wyckoff calls him, but basically pretend there's one person on the other end of the trade that's trying to take advantage of you. And what he does is he gets you excited about upward price action, and then he scares you out of your position on lower price action, et cetera, et cetera. Not saying that necessarily is happening with anybody. I'm just saying that that's kind of the theory. And then that went into another accumulation on this side is how I was reading it. But I do want to talk about this potential redistribution schematic, and how it's actually possible that we do see further downside through this redistribution schematic. And I want to show you an example of when this happened. And this falls in line with Brian's theory that I talked about before. which is that we are actually in April from a cycle perspective, and we're nearing the end of this downward price action, but it's going to elongate the future move. So there is still one more big jolt to the bottom. And so the way that this schematic works is basically after a distribution phase, the composite man, as they call him, wants to spend time getting people excited about the stock again, so that because he has so much of it, that he wants to get you excited about it again, so you start buying at tops again, higher price ranges, right? And so in this schematic, as you can see here, I'm not sure how clear it is, you have a sell climax, right? And it doesn't have to be exact. Again, like I say that in every video, but I just want to make sure that's clear, right? You have a sell climax. You have your primary supply, right? The point of supply where basically he starts to buy up the market, cause the price to go up, so that then he can start to supply it back to the market at high prices. You have your buying climax, your sell test up above this resistance line, and then your upward thrust before you start to see this downtrend, right? And so what we saw here was a sign of weakness, as you can see here in the schematic, and then points of supply, right, up near the bearish trend line. Then we broke out of this bearish trend line and began a new bull trend. And it's funny how these actually can tie into each other, because I have this accumulation schematic that I drew up before, and you can see that if I take this off, this actually works as an accumulation schematic leading up to the big blow up in June. So let me just show you what this redistribution schematic looks like, and then whatever your thoughts are, you can have them, which is totally cool. That's kind of the point of the channel, right? But this is just how I'm seeing it. I mean, it's a potential redistribution that we're seeing here. I think it's a pretty compelling case. You have your sell climax down here, your primary supply to the market. Then you have, here, the sell test, an automatic reaction, upward thrust, and then you have these last points of supply. So basically, what last points of supply are is when the composite man is selling off his final supply at the prices that he sees being supported by the market, right? And he does this by creating these upward thrusts. Now we had our first sign of weakness if this schematic is valid, and based on this particular one, and it doesn't have to be exact, right? I say that all the time. But it would insinuate that we should see one more sign of weakness, perhaps dipping down into this $34 to $32 range, come back, test for another supply point, and then we start our new uptrend. And again, this would align with the spring theory, right? Now, I don't know if it's going to be like a true spring where you go out of this trading range altogether. I mean, I'm not going to take that off the table. I think of course, anything is possible, right? But this is just what I'm getting from the analysis and just different methods that are proven, by the way. Like this stuff has been was created. The guy died 100 years ago, right? And this is still, these patterns are still playing out in a valid way. So I think to discount them completely would be unwise, in my opinion. So as always, we're gonna find out, right? Time will only tell. But these are just some of the theses that I've been playing around with, or theses. Theses kind of sounds like feces, which is poop. So I just wanted to, kind of voice it out. Again, tomorrow, I'm pretty confident about us dipping down into the $38 range as far as tomorrow. Max pain. Market makers have far too much money to make at that level. And I think it's an interesting case we could have here for redistribution. And the fortunate side of it is, if this is in fact the schematic that's playing out and we are in a redistribution phase, we're actually pretty close to the end. And so Now, this one, we broke out of the downward trend in this one, April 14th, 15th, something like that. So, I mean, it does align with Brian's thesis. Again, we're all bulls here. Like, I'm a long-term bull on AMC. I'm long on AMC. I've never gone short. I never plan on going short, but it's just something to consider, you know. So I just want to make sure everything is out there. Everything I'm looking at is out there. I'm not trying to predict the future. Whenever it happens, I'm not gonna like do a touchdown dance or say, look, I predicted it exactly. I'm just trying to, you know, put the information out there for you guys to consume and make your decisions from there. So yeah, if you appreciate the content, if you enjoyed it, make sure you drop a like on the video. If you disliked it, go ahead and dislike it. I know I'm gonna get a lot of those on this one. Comment your thoughts down below. Let me know what you think. I have a link for TradingView, which is the tool that I use to do all these charts, down below. If you sign up using that link and you do a premium subscription, you get a discount on your initial subscription, and I also get a commission. But if you do it the free way as well, it's good to have an account. You can sign up through there. If you ever upgrade in the future, I think I get commission for that. You don't have to, though. But yeah, you go through there. It's pretty cool because with your account, you can save your charts and keep up with them on the go, on your mobile, and then pick them up where you left off on your desktop and vice versa. So make sure you do that. Also, I have a Discord link down in the description below, as well as my Twitter. You can keep up with my tweets throughout the day, what I'm seeing on the charts, that sort of thing. Yeah, and subscribe to the channel and turn on post notifications if you're new here. That really helps the channel out a lot. So, yeah. I'll see you guys in the next video, whenever that is. Hope you enjoyed. Have a good one. Boy, I can't wait to see the negative comments that come on this video. Woohoo! I'm excited. I'd imagine that a lot of them aren't gonna like watch the entire video to the end. But if you do have a really negative comment and you watch it to the end, let me know, because I know that this is kind of like a lot of people might have clicked off of the video by now. So, all right, have a good one.